Hey y'all, if that music echoed, it's because I played it from YouTube. StreamYard didn't let me upload it. I did a little compilation, a little montage of drone footage. I think it's from the Mirror and then Sky News. I had a little bit on a previous version from the BBC, but I think I took that one out. I'm not sure, but yeah, I had to upload it onto YouTube because the file was too big for StreamYard, and StreamYard automatically mutes your mic, but I forgot to, so if it was echoing, I do apologise. Okay, so we're here for a press conference. It's happening in about 20 minutes. I do have shopping being delivered any minute now. Excuse me. I've been following, you know, on Amazon you can track your order. Well, it's in my village, so any minute now there's going to be a knock on the door. So I'm gonna. Oh, the dogs are whining. They're here. So I'll leave you just for a couple of minutes while I tell them to leave the shopping at the door. They never do. I tell them every time, they never do. They want me to take it in. They think it's going to get robbed. It's not. But yeah, so I'll have to go down and answer the door any second now. But the press conference is in 20 minutes. So we are going to be here for the press conference. When I saw Lancashire Police put the call out for 5:30, I was like, oh no, I hope my shopping's here. But yeah, first world problems, isn't it? What we're going to expect at this press conference, I would imagine that they'll have an identification. I would imagine that they did the autopsy today. As I said in my live yesterday, when it's a case like this, when there's a potential for a crime to have been committed for an unexplained death, then it will go to a Home Office pathologist. So they are done absolute priority. So it's quite possible that the autopsy has been completed and they may have some preliminary results, but don't quote me on that. They may not have results yet. It depends. But what they might have, what I'm hoping they have, is an identification. There's my shopping. Right, I'll leave you with that music again, and I'll mute out this time. So I'll be 2 minutes max, okay? Oh, right, I'm out of breath now, but I'm all yours. Shopping's inside. It's actually more dangerous leaving it inside in bags because Stretch Armstrong, otherwise known as Cassie, you think she's only small, but she can get onto surfaces and take things. Yeah, so it probably would have been safer for me to leave it outside. I'm so out of breath. Okay, guys, I'm all yours. So we've got 15 minutes to wait for the press conference. I have got Sky News on in the background. Let me just catch my breath. I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm not as young as I used to be. Oh, dear me. I was running. I did running then. Running's not good. But hello, everyone. I hope you're all right. I still have a good recovery rate for getting my heart rate down. So that's a sign of fitness. You know, us over 50s, we've got to look after ourselves, don't we? Let's see who's in the house. I've got nearly 1,800 people in, so I'm not going to go back all the way back to the beginning of the chat like I normally do. So Buglove's in the house. Hello, hello, Buglove. Miss Enigma, Suzanne, Angel Baby, Emily. Hello, Emily. Hello, Helen. I'm so glad that, 70% of my audience are from the US and Canada. And there's so many of you that's come over, from overseas to follow this case. And, although not as many YouTube channels have put dedicated, details out, quite a lot have done like 1 or 2 videos, but I'm so pleased that so many of my audience have supported me following this case, but also, just been rooting for Nicola, that she'd be found home and, safe and, things would be okay. But we'll wait and see. We've not got long to wait now. Thank you. Who have we got here? Marina for the $9.99. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. YouTube's doing those things again where it's not letting emojis show. If you make a post that's got a lot of emojis, don't blame me if it doesn't show up in the chat. It's annoying. I don't know why YouTube's has suddenly started doing that. Who else is in the house? Lindsay. Yeah. I do hope it's her. I do. I don't think the police would have told the family like they've told them informally. I don't think they would have told the family if there was any doubt whatsoever, but they have to go through the formalities. So, Jen, hello. Natalathion. I have no idea how to say your name. I'm sorry. Hi, Steph. One Shining Star, hello. Foxy. Narox. Heather Feather. Charlene. Olive, Fly on the Wall, hello. Nisi, hello. Pink Fan 78, Anonymous, Glitter Witch, Insta Justice, Holly, Judith, and lots of people. So I'll stop with the roll call. I know some people get really annoyed by roll calls, but I like to just give a few hellos. Thank you, Sharon, for the $13.99 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. People are so generous. Okay, we've got 12 minutes. I'm on pins. I don't know about you. I'm absolutely on pins. I feel that this has been longer than 24 days. I feel like this case has been going on for months, even though it hasn't. And if we can, get some news today that, there's going to be lots of questions that will come from this. If it's Nicola. Miss Enigma, member for 5 months. Oh, thank you. I did have another member comment up here. Doesn't show on YouTube. Irene, member for 1 month. Thank you. Thank you for the continued support. Dilly, thank you for the $5. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, it's felt like a long journey. I mean, with it being in my home county, It's been a very strange experience for me. And because the vast majority of the cases that I cover are in the US, not exclusively. We did Cleo Smith over on this channel from Australia. And of course, I do, one-off videos, stories and things like that, cold cases. But as a day by day coverage, this is the first time that I've done this for a case in the UK. I covered Olivia Pratt-Corbell, the little 9-year-old who was shot just 28 miles away from me. But that case was concluded pretty quickly. They found the person who they believe murdered her. There was the case from Burnley, which again is my county last year, whose name escapes me, Katie Kenyon. I covered hers, but her case was concluded pretty quickly. Like, they knew the guy that did it. He's gone to prison, and yeah, but this one's the first big case where it's been a complete mystery, and it's in my home county. And I had the opportunity to go actually look for myself, and that really solidified my opinion of what happened to Nicola on that day. And I know I'm in the minority of the minority, and I know that even now people are still going to be saying that it's a cover-up, saying that her body's been placed there in the water, which I think is something that we do have to address. We have to address that possibility. Sharon, welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Thanks for joining memberships. And who else have we got? Lisa. Is it Lisa? Liza. Welcome to memberships. And thank you, Chris, for the $4.99. I will buy them a little treat. I will indeed. I will indeed. Did I walk where she was found? Not where she was found. No. That's a mile downstream. I didn't. And given that the locals have had such a tough time with people going there, it's really given social media a bad name for what a handful of people have done. And I'd feel pretty shady actually going there and looking where she was found. Maybe if there's a lot of controversy, maybe I will. But I don't feel like I want to do that right now. But no, in answer to the question, I stayed. I actually retraced Nicola's steps from the entrance from Blackpool Lane along the river path, past the weir, along to the bench, and then through the gate to the bench. I looked at the bank. I nearly fell down the bank because Cassie pushed me. It's very slippery there. And then I walked around the lower field, and I spent a lot of time in the upper field. I didn't show it all on camera, at least the footage that I showed on YouTube. But I walked that upper field. Now, I didn't do a grid search. Don't say that I walked every inch of it. I walked a considerable ways all around it, backwards and forwards. I had Cassie tracking backwards and forwards on that field. And I knew there was nothing on that field. So I spent a considerable amount of time there. I'd say probably 3/4 of the time I spent there, the hours that I spent there, were on that upper field, because that was the last sighting, right, at 9:10. So, I knew, I went there like the week after it had all happened. The police dogs had been through. There'd been lots of volunteer searchers there. Throughout that week. There was volunteer searchers there while I was there. All the hedgerows had been searched. Just everything had been combed. There was nothing on there, but I had to do it for myself. And like I said, I didn't do a grid search. It wasn't a systematic search, but it was semi-thorough, I would say. If there'd have been anything obvious, I would have seen it. Or Cassie would have found it. I had Cassie tracking, so there's that. What I mean by tracking is, obviously, I don't have Nicola's scent, so I didn't send her off to look for Nicola. But anything she will track. If I say, where is it? She'll track for something. She's looking for something. Now, normally when I send her to track in the field, when I lose something, And I've got a good tracking video coming. I just haven't got it on her channel yet. She's looking for familiar scents, but I sent her looking for something, anything she could find, you know, even if it was a tennis ball, she would have found it, and she didn't. There was nothing on that field. So I was confident that Nicola had not disappeared from that upper field. Absolutely confident. I didn't voice it all, everything that I saw, just the main points of things I did. And yeah, I was sure. Who else have we got here who's sent donations in? Patty, welcome to the Secret Agents Club. I thought you were already a member, Patty, but maybe not. Maybe you're rejoining, I'm not sure. And who else have we got here? Laney. Laney. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to keep an eye on Sky News now. I'll put it on screen so that we can watch it together. And then as soon as they move from this, let me add it on there. As soon as we have some movement here, I'm not actually live there. There we go. As soon as we have something, then I will go full screen on it. And for those of you who do have problems hearing, Sky News do have subtitles on their lives. So I've got the closed captions on for you guys who might not watch normally. StreamYard doesn't let me put closed captions on, but at least Sky have got them. Okay. Sam, yes, I can see you, Sam. Yes. Why do people always ask that? What is that? It's a new thing, that is. That's a new thing. People asking, can they be seen? Yes. No one's banned from the chat. If you were blocked, you wouldn't be able to post in the chat. So there you go. Lynn, thank you for the $4.99. Thank you so much. Yeah, pins and needles. I'm on pins here. Pins and needles here. But yeah, it's been a real difficult one, and I've been more fractious, more annoyed than I usually am. You know, I did say right at the beginning of this case, you know, if this goes on and on, you are going to see a different side to me, because, you know, once the circus comes to town, this is my home county. I'm going to defend it. And of course, I'm not going to defend the police if I think they've done wrong. And I don't think they should have released the information about Nicola being menopausal and having an alcohol issue. I don't think that helped at all. But there is an investigation ongoing with that. And wait and see what happens there. So that's police headquarters at Hutton, just outside of Preston. So the press conference is coming live from Hutton. Let me just see if I can make these subtitles bigger. Let's have a look here. All right, that might be a bit bigger now. Okay. So as soon as we see them go inside, then we will switch to it, and I'll go full screen. Memberships are $2.99. It's just one level. But if you click the join button, it will tell you how much. It's $2.99 a month. Just to show some support for the channel. And I appreciate everybody who supports the channel. But if you can't afford a membership or to make a donation, do you know what the best thing, the very, very best thing you can do to support this channel? By far the best things you can do to support this channel. Like every video, watch as much of them as you can, all the way through if you can. Share them if you've got your own social media, and leave a comment. So if it's a video, leave a comment in the comment section. If it's a live, leave comments in the chat. It's not for my ego. It tells YouTube that the video is worth promoting. So it goes higher in the algorithm. It's nothing to do with ego. All right. Muting out now. See you in a second.
Right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Sadly, we are now able to confirm that yesterday we recovered Nicola Bulley from the River Wyre. Nicola's family have been informed and are, of course, devastated. Our thoughts are with them at this time, as well as with all her loved ones and the wider community. We recognise the huge impact that Nicola's disappearance has had on her family and friends, but also on the people of St Michael's. We would like to thank all of those who have helped during what has been a hugely complex and highly emotional investigation. Today's development is not the outcome any of us would have wanted, but we hope that at least it can begin to provide some answers for Nicola's loved ones. They remain foremost in our thoughts. The case is now being handled by His Majesty's Coroner. The family have asked that we read a statement on their behalf. I'll now hand over to Detective Chief Superintendent Pauline Stables to do that.
Nicola's family have asked that we release the following statement on their behalf as follows. Our family liaison officers have had to confirm our worst fears today. We will never be able to comprehend what Nikki had gone through in her last moments, and that will never leave us. We will never forget Nikki. How could we? She was the centre of our world. She was the one who made our lives so special, and nothing will cast a shadow over that. Our girls will get the support they need from the people who love them the most. And it saddens us to think that one day we will have to explain to them that the press and members of the public accuse their dad of wrongdoing, misquoted and vilified friends and family. This is absolutely appalling. They have to be held accountable. This cannot happen to another family. We tried last night to take in what we had been told in the day, only to have Sky News and ITV making contact with us directly when we expressly asked for privacy. They again have taken it upon themselves to run stories about us, to sell papers and increase their own profits. It is shameful they have acted in this way. Leave us alone now. Do the press and other media channels and so-called professionals not know when to stop? These are our lives and our children's lives. To those who genuinely helped and supported us privately, we thank you. The community support in St Michael's, friends, neighbours and strangers has been nothing short of comforting and heartwarming. Friends, you know who you are. Thank you. Our hearts truly break for others who have missing loved ones. Keep that hope alive. Finally, Nikki, you are no longer a missing person. You have been found. We can let you rest now. We love you, always have and always will. We will take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Well, that statement there from the police, Assistant Chief Constable Peter Lawson, and a statement read on behalf of Nicola Bulley's family. And the police confirming, as they said there, they are able to now confirm.
Okay, guys. Okay. It was her, yes. Yeah, just me, it was her. No, Kenny. No, Kenny. It's not a rubbish statement. No, it's not. Now, obviously, it's not given us any information other than it was Nicola that they found in the river. I'm assuming that we might get information about her cause and manner of death. But the family might not want that publicised. And if the family don't want that publicised, and it was an accidental death, and there's no crime been committed, the police are under no obligation to tell us. They're not. Obviously, if they find evidence that a crime has been committed, then that's a completely different story. But in my opinion, unless the police issue such a statement that they believe a crime has been committed, then it's down to everybody, whether you are a creator on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whether you post on Twitter and Facebook, please listen to what the family said. It wasn't an attack on mainstream media. It was a very honest and blunt reflection on what they've experienced. And it's been gobsmacking. I say this every time. And this isn't the time for me to be angry about what social media does to families. I probably will do a stream dedicated to the shocking things that social media does. Not to Nicola Bulley's family specifically, but generally across the board. Flower of Scotland, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining the Secret Agents Club. Welcome to memberships. They do it every time. Every time a case gets some traction in the media, on social media, there are people who will hound the family. They'll hound them for statements. They'll get statements from people who are loosely or even closely connected to the family, and they'll use that for their own content. That in itself isn't wrong. That's not wrong. That's fine. But when the family asks for privacy, then it's down to everybody, whether you're on social media or whether you're in the mainstream media, to respect that privacy. And the fact that they named Sky News, and this was going out live on Sky, I'm glad they did. Because Sky News did get a statement from Paul. Now, if I'd have been Paul, I'd have had I wouldn't have responded, but he's not me, is he? And he said it was agony. And I think that is a perfect word to describe what's gone on in the last 24 days to that family. Yes, you missed the presser. It was only like a very short statement. Just rewind about 10 minutes and you'll get it. And I just want to say just one more time, and like I said, I probably will do a whole stream dedicated to this and give you examples, but not yet. This is too raw. This is just yet another example of what social media does at its most horrific. I mean, in this case, we've had people digging up the woodland, thinking that they've highlighted the spot in the topography where a body's buried. Digging up. What if they did? What if they'd found a body? They'd have filmed it. Guys, that's what they went for. They'd have filmed it. Somebody, a TikToker, and I think they've got a channel on YouTube as well. Do you know what that person did yesterday? Actually filmed them bringing her body out of the river. Come on now. It's sick. That is sick. That is sick. And what is more sick is that people told lies about that footage. People said that they dragged her up the bank with ropes. How do you think that they are going to get a body in a body bag up that steep embankment? What do you think they're going to do? Bring a stretcher down? Come on now. Come on now. Now, this person did stop filming after a while, but it was very clearly a body. They were struggling to get that body out of those reeds. And it was in the river. It was in the reedy area of the river, very stuck. And that should never, 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 never have been shown anywhere. That person lied to get close to that scene. And lessons have to be learnt from this. They really do. They have to be learnt from this. That creators need to be more responsible. Yeah, I know they won't. I know they won't. There will be people who will unsubscribe from me because I'm saying these things and whatever. Goodbye. Good riddance. I don't want people on this channel who think that that's acceptable. I don't want people on this channel who think that they can twist whatever statement comes out, either by a family member in the media or from a friend who's spoken on social media. People twist it for their own reasons. Now, the vast majority of people who are doing this twisting are not creators. Creators are only a small part of the problem. Do you know what the main problem is? The main problem is people who support them. Because if people didn't support them, then they wouldn't do it, right? Clearly, some people are not responsible enough to think about that for themselves. But yeah, you know, people watch. People tell me about oh, they dragged her out with ropes. Yeah, whatever, right? Vaughn, welcome to memberships. Welcome to the Secret Agents Club. Now, we're all here on social media. We're all here. I'm here talking about this case. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with some speculation when a case is completely, you know, it's a mystery what went on. Nothing wrong with that. But you've got to do it with respectability and with an ethical mindset. Or else all you're doing is being part of the problem. And I'm really sorry. Digging up woodland, filming a body being brought out of a river. People have broken into people's homes, not literally into people's homes, but going on their property, in their yards, trying to get into sheds. That brick building that's on the lower field, that's been busted in. It's a pump house, apparently. That's been busted in. Acts of criminal damage, that so-called abandoned house has been filmed. Wrong. Why? No need for it. But at the same time, you know, we're all interested in true crime. We want to understand these cases. We want to discuss these cases. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. Don't misquote me. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever at all. But at the end of the day, everybody has got to learn from this. I say this every time. I know full well people won't learn because people like the drama. However, I've said all I've got to say on that. I'm glad that Nicola's family have spoken out and just given their, you know, their heartfelt, please leave us alone. And leave them alone. Leave them alone now. Right? Don't try to contact them. Just leave them alone. Let them grieve. This is the worst day of their lives. Like yesterday, today, the worst time in their lives. Her parents are in the 70s, have been pleading for Nicky to come home. Paul, who's had terrible, terrible things said about him. And he's absolutely right. One day, his daughters, who are aged 9 and 6, will read what people said about their dad. Just think about that. Think about that, what that will do to their heads. Think about how how they have to come to terms with this now. And it's awful, awful. It's awful for any family to have to go through in private, yet alone this has become such a public, a well-known case. Everybody knows Nicola Bulley. And that's good. When someone's missing, we want that, don't we? We want that. We want everybody to know their name and their face, so that if they are out there somewhere, if they have been kidnapped or they've left of their own volition, then that can be reported in. And if they have left on their own volition and they want to stay gone, that's up to them. You know, if they're an adult, that's entirely up to them. But it's nobody else's place. Nobody else's place to speak for them. Right. So yeah. So there is that. And there are going to be questions. There are going to be questions. Personally, I don't think there's any criminal element to this. I don't think she took her own life either. I think when people hear that she fell in the river or she's been found in the river, that they automatically think that she's taken her own life. And I don't believe that's the case. That's just my opinion, though. I think this has been a tragic, tragic accident. We're never going to know the exact details. We're never going to know that. We're never going to know why she fell in that river. We're never going to know whether she knocked herself out or whether she struggled or whether she just sailed. Yeah, I hope that she knocked herself out, and I hope that she didn't know anything and she didn't suffer. I really, really hope that. But we'll never know. So it's no longer. We know she's been found now. There's no longer a need to speculate any further on that, except if the police do come out and say there was a criminal element to this. So accidents happen every day. We've all had accidents. Come on, guys, we've all had accidents. Fortunately, for the vast majority of us, they're not serious. But just sometimes the inexplicable happens, and it's tragic and it's fatal. I don't want to hear that they're not going to be honest about it. Why wouldn't they be honest about it? If the police find, look, this is not the police. Do you understand? Do you understand? This is not the police who determines whether or not, I'll take my banner off because people are asking when the presser is, because they're not in America. So I'll just hide that now. The press conference has already happened. If you just rewind about 20 minutes, you'll get it. Thank you, Sarah, for the $4.99. Thank you so much. Thank you. Alan, the dog, didn't jump in after her. I've got extensive videos on this. Extensive. So please go and watch my previous videos. Of course they do. Accidents happen every single day. But only occasionally, only occasionally are they so tragic and they're fatal. But we don't need to speculate. We'll probably never know. Unless the autopsy comes up with, I don't know, that she had a medical emergency that can be seen on an autopsy. A sudden heart attack could be seen on an autopsy. Depending on the degree of composition, things like aneurysms will be seen, but it depends on the degree of decomposition for things like that. But they'll know. Let's just talk about this. We'll be able to know whether or not she was placed in that river. How? Because this is now in the hands of a Home Office coroner. This is no longer in the hands of the police. The police can't cover anything up. This is in the hands of the Home Office, i.e. the government. So this is nothing to do with Lancashire Police now, right? This is to do with the Home Office coroner. And as I said yesterday, the autopsy will be done by a Home Office pathologist. It's not the police that does these things, right? It's not. This is the Home Office. This is a government, and the government's already asking questions about Lancashire Police. So do you think, right? Do you think that the Home Office coroner is going to cover up on behalf of Lancashire Police? Do you think that? Do you think that seriously? Tell me. Do you think that seriously? Karen, thank you for the £5. That's very kind of you. I'm going to turn my other computer off now because I'm not going to share my screen again, and this is distracting me. So I'll just watch StreamYard. Easier. The Home Office, yes, is based in London. Their head office is in London, but it doesn't mean to say the body has to be transported to London. A Home Office pathologist will come to Preston. It will be Preston. It will be done in Preston. When my son was killed, his autopsy was done by a Home Office pathologist, because at that time, in those first 24 hours, his death was unexplained. So automatically, potential for serious crime. Therefore, it goes to a Home Office pathologist. This is not the police that does these things. No, it's not a county coroner. No, it isn't. It's the Home Office. You heard what they said. When there are unexplained deaths, they are referred to a Home Office pathologist, and they are referred to the Home Office coroner. They are acting on behalf of the British government. Now, you can have some conspiracy theory that Lancashire Police are in on it with the British government. You can have that. I'll give it you. I'll give it you. There you go. There's your next conspiracy theory. But there is no way that the police can cover this up in the real world. No way they can cover anything up. And if that, in that person's expert opinion, if in that pathologist's expert opinion, if they see signs of a crime being committed, that will then be referred to the police for a criminal investigation. They will know how long she's been in that water. How will they know that? Give me some clues. Let's test your knowledge. Give me some clues. How will they know how long she's been in that water? Exactly. What would they benefit from covering it up? what would the benefit be? There'd be no benefit. Skin slippage, sloughing of skin, lava, yeah. Yep. Decomp, yeah. Yeah. So they'll be able to tell by lava. Lava was a very good answer, by the way. They'll be able to tell by the amount, and this is gruesome. This is grim. If you're eating, then I'm sorry. It's true crime. This is, you get the real world of true crime with me. I'm not gonna thank you for the 199. Thank you so much. Patty. Grimminator, Patty. What is lava? Lava is the baby version of things like insects. So like caterpillars are larvae of the butterfly. So it's the baby version, right? So they know all the kind of common marine life that is in that river, right? So they'll know by the amount of eggs that have been laid, the amount of lava, and the stage at which they're at, right? roughly how long that body has been in that water. That's just one way that they will be able to tell. They'll also be able to tell with the decomposition as to how long roughly it's likely been in water. If that, as many people, so many people in my comments today have said that she was put in only in the last day or two, when they thought that the search had wound up in the river, and the searchers were all out in the sea, excuse me, in the estuary, that they'd put her there and it'd make it look like a drowning. Well, no, because the decomposition on land is characteristically different than decomposition in water. So if that body has been decomposing on land, let's say it's been buried, let's say it's been kept in a freezer, let's say, I don't know, whatever you think it might have been, or it even has been alive and has only just been murdered. It's been kept alive for 3 weeks and has only just been murdered. That will be so obvious to a pathologist. That will be so obvious. They will be able to give a rough, not a time of death, but a rough day of death, how long that body has been deceased. They'll be able to tell whether that body has been in that water for all of that time or the majority of that time, right? Skin slippage happens regardless of where that body is, right? Unless it's frozen, so decomp will slow right down. But there's lots of ways in which a pathologist can tell roughly how long a body has been deceased. And it's not a long time. 24 days is not a long time. Actually be 23 days because we'll be frozen overnight. But yeah, they're not stupid. They're not stupid. So unless the police come along or told the news that this body has not been in that river all of that time, and maybe that body has been alive very recently, then they'll know. And they'll tell the police, look, this is a homicide. Investigate it as a homicide. Yes, the water is fresh at that point. It is tidal, but it's still fresh at that point, yeah. Was water cold? It was cold, but it's not freezing cold. It's been very mild here over the last 3 weeks, I have to say. So it's never gone below freezing at all. So it's cold water, but it's not freezing cold water. I mean, water's obviously colder than on land, just naturally, but yeah. So insect life or bug life is going to be a big deal here. Also, the amount of marine life that has found a home in that body. Do you want to hear a gruesome story? My cousin is a paramedic, right? And when I went to the wedding on Friday, my uncle was telling me this story because my cousin likes to tell everybody gruesome stories, right? of things that he sees when he's out and about doing his paramedic stuff. And he can certify people dead, right? And he went to this river. I don't know where it was actually, but obviously within his remit, so in this county somewhere, to certify a body deceased that had come out of the river. So this body had been found in the river. I don't know which river, a river. And my cousin was called to the scene to certify this person dead. And he said when he got there, the police that were on scene were going, she's moving, she's alive, she's moving. And he said he just looked at him thinking, the level of decomposition in this person, there was absolutely no way that this person could be alive. And they said, look, she's moving. And do you know what it was? It was a rat that had taken home in her body. So obviously the body's kind of washed up on the banking. So probably was part in, part part out of the water, and a rat jumped out of this hole in her body, and the police officers fainted. So that's what you're dealing with. That's what people are filming. It's yeah, but it's nature. I'm afraid that is nature. And it's grim, it's gruesome, but nature makes its home and feeds on decaying flesh. And at the end of the day, they will know how long that body has been in that water. And I can't stress enough that if I see people continually in my comments saying it's a cover-up, or it's this, or it's that, or she was killed and put in the water to make it look like a drowning, then I'm going to pass you by. I'm not going to make any comment. I'm going to pass you by. But I'm going to tell you that I'll apologise. If it's found that she was murdered, right? I really don't think so. And I really hope that her death was quick and she was just knocked out when she fell and she didn't know anything. But people like to think the most gruesome things. And yes, in rare occasions, those gruesome things happen. And, you know, somebody can experience things that are way worse than any of us should ever imagine or even, you know, go through. Excuse me. But if in that rare event that did happen, that will be a homicide, that will be a murder investigation, and we can have all of those conversations. We can do that. But if it's an accident and the family don't want that made public, the police have no obligation to make that public. They might say it's been deemed an accidental death and leave it at that. They've no obligation to the public to say anything unless it's criminal. So, and it won't be long. It won't be long before that information's with the family and the police, if it's not already. So I really do believe it was a very tragic, horrific accident. And it's nothing more than that. But I'll apologise. I will. I'll apologise to all of those people that I said, come off it, come on now. You know, I will. I've been wrong before. And what have I done? I've made a video and I've apologised. There's nothing wrong with apologies. We all get it wrong. But in this instance, having been there, having seen that river, having been on that banking, I believe it's a tragic accident. They happen all the time. They do. Accidents happen all the time. Every single day. Kenny, what are you saying here? Will I not entertain a witness protection extraction? I recall a similar disappearance of a Manchester fella who allegedly had a motorbike accident in Florida. No, I won't, because her body was found in the river. And if this was a witness protection case. So what you're saying, that Nicola went into witness protection? Well, no. Why? Because her family's spoken out. So no. I mean, I don't know. If that's your theory, then that's your theory. But it's not one that I personally hold. No. The family would not have spoken out. If this was a witness protection case, why would the family have spoken out? And if this was a witness protection case, why would the police have been giving daily updates? And it's absolutely not true that what commentators are saying on Sky News and others, that the police didn't give updates. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They gave daily updates daily updates, either by way of a press conference or on their social media. Why would she need witness protection? I have no idea. I have no idea. It's just ridiculous. So no. But yeah, you can have a hypothesis like that if you want, but the information that we've been given doesn't match that at all. There's nothing about that case that screams that she would need witness protection. She was a woman taking her dog for a walk, having dropped her children off at school, and numerous people saw her. If she'd gone into witness protection, you're going to have to now say that the family's in on it, the police is in on it, and all the witnesses that saw her are in on it, and possibly the school are in on it as well. So it's ridiculous. No, it was an accident, and that's that. It was an accident. Could it have been a medical emergency? Yeah, easily. People have medical emergencies all the time. But if it was a simple trip or fall, or whether it was a medical emergency and she was just that bit too close to the river when it happened, yeah, could have been. We don't need to speculate any longer about why she fell in the river. She fell in the river. Did she fall in at the bench, or did she go further downstream? Was she walking past the weir and fell in? Possible, but why would Willow? We go back to why was Willow at the bench area? Why did she not follow Nicola? If Nicola walked along the river past the weir, it's only a few hundred yards. Why did Willow not just hop over the stile with Nicola and follow her? So for me, that doesn't make sense because of Willow. If Willow hadn't been there, or Willow had been found in another location, then I would have said that's the location where Willow last saw Nicola. And if that was further down the river past the weir, then I would have said that's the spot. That's the spot where she fell in. But I've got loads of videos on that. Loads of them. Yes, they did confirm it was her, yeah. So the press conference happened about 47 minutes ago. So if you just rewind this stream 47 minutes, then you'll get the press conference. It was only very short. It was a statement from one of the lead detective people saying that, still got Sky News on in the background here, saying that the body was confirmed to be that of Nicola, and a statement from the family, a very heartfelt, very strong statement from the family. Willow was the key witness, absolutely, Jen. Willow was the key witness, as I've consistently said, and people have rubbished it. They've said that I'm humanizing the dog and I'm too emotional about dogs. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm telling you, I know dogs. I know dogs. I've had dogs all my life. Got my first dog when I was 3 years old. Right? I've known Springer Spaniels all my life. And I know dogs. Do I consider myself a dog expert? Not qualified, but yeah, maybe. Dogs know, they do. So am I going to believe Willow over a bunch of internet detectives? Yes. Every single time. Every single time. That dog had no reason to stay there. No reason to stay there. You're more of a cat man, Miss Sprake. No, I'm not. Oh, Max, sorry, Max. I've not got my glasses on. My glasses don't work properly anymore. I need to go and get new ones. Like they're blurry now. Like my eyes have obviously changed since like the last time I got a pair of glasses. So I need to go. They keep texting me and God knows what. But yeah, Specsavers keep texting me. Anyway, so yeah, I'm a dog person. I've got 2 cats, but I wouldn't get another cat. it's a kind of an accident. I like all the cats I've ever had have like been like accidental, apart from one. But anyway, yeah, I'm a very much dog person, and I'll believe Willow. I'll believe her. There was absolutely no reason why Willow would have stayed in that general area, highly agitated. She'd have followed Nicola. If Nicola had walked further down the river and, I don't know, gone for a walk, wandered off and fallen in past the weir, yes, it would have been easier for her body to get from that spot past the weir where it's tidal to the place where she was found. But people keep saying, you know, she went in past the weir. Well, it's not impossible, but I always go back to, why did Willow stay there at the bench? Why did she not follow follow Nicola? She could easily get over that stile. Dogs don't lie, absolutely, Snoozy Girl. They don't. But if Willow hadn't been there, then yeah, I'd have said I don't know where she went in. I'd have just said she could have gone in anywhere. No idea. She could have just left the phone and wandered off. But it's Willow. Willow's the sticking point. Willow is the only witness to this crime, or to this case, to this crime. It's not a crime. I don't believe it's a crime. Potential crime. But it's tragic accident. If it was a crime, Willow would be the only witness, and unfortunately, Willow can't give testimony. But when it's a tragic accident, then we need to look no further than Willow. And by tragic accident, I mean, you know, whether it's a medical emergency, whether she tripped and fell, doesn't matter to me now. But it's just really, really sad, really tragic. But there's so many, thousands of people out there missing. If you saw my video that I put out this morning or early afternoon, I talked about the case of Peter Baglin, who's still missing out of Manchester. So it's about Worsley, about 30 miles from me. He's still missing. I talked about Mark Bishop, excuse me, whose body fell in the River Trent, in the Midlands, Newark-on-Trent in the Midlands. And they just found his body after 4 weeks. So it's not unusual that he was found by underwater police divers. But they've been in the River Trent for 4 weeks looking for him. It's not an unusual situation that when people fall in water, that they're not found for weeks and weeks and weeks. Lindsay, thank you for becoming a secret agent. Welcome to memberships. Thank you for the support. It's time for Sleuth Dog to make an appearance. Yeah. Gray, I don't think she was. She wasn't trapped. She wasn't trapped. She wasn't trapped with fences. She could have got over the stile very easily. Very low stile. She could have got over that very, very easily. She could have got under the fence. Now, yes, there is some wire. There's one part of the fence where you'd have to go over the stile and then through the fence, but a dog would work that out. Otherwise, a dog would go over the fence. It was a very low fence. A Springer Spaniel could have cleared that fence easily. Look, Cassie, my Springer Spaniel Grey, my fence in my front yard is about the same height as that fence, and Cassie can just sail over it. Sail over it. Doesn't even she doesn't even take a run up. She just sails over it. You'd be surprised how much a dog can jump. Now, not all dogs are expert jumpers, but if they're in stress mode, then they're going to find a way through. And they might not jump. They might not be able to work it out immediately. If they can't work it out, then she would have tried digging under. If she, maybe just completely panicked and didn't think about working it out, and she completely panicked, there'd have been dig marks. She'd have tried digging under. There would have been dig marks. And there wasn't. There was no dig marks. I checked. I had a look when I was there. No dig marks. Dogs can dig, right? If they can't jump over, if they can't go under, they'll dig their way. I can give you stories about Cassie getting trapped in places where when she was younger, she doesn't do it now because she just works out, she just retraces her steps. When she was puppy, she used to occasionally get trapped. And one time she got through a fence into, I call it the woodyard. It's not the woodyard anymore, but it's like, I don't know, a workplace. And she got under a fence. I couldn't work out how she got under. And I had to dig her out, and I was digging one side and she was digging the other side till we eventually had a hole that was big enough for her to get through. But I was digging one side, she was digging the other side. So it's a natural thing for dogs to do, is to dig when they can't get over or under, or they can't work it out. They dig. They absolutely dig. And that occasion, Cassie was a puppy. She was no more than 6 months old, and she knew exactly what she needed to do. She was panicking. She was whining. She was frantic, but she was digging. So that was a stress response. So why didn't she follow her downstream? I have addressed this, Gray, in my videos, because dogs don't have object permanence. So if Nicola just disappeared down that 10-foot bank into the water and went under, then Willow is going to be confused. And if she went under and didn't come back up, that dog is going to be confused. And an experienced scent dog might have been able to work out to follow that scent, even though it was in the water. But as you might know, scent moves very quickly in rivers because of the flow of water. That's why cadaver dogs who are used in rivers don't have a very good success rate, because the scent's moving all the time. So I think when she was found, she was in a state of confusion because she didn't know what on earth had happened. Dogs don't have an understanding of water like we do. Some dogs love water, some dogs hate water. But what they don't understand is the nature of water. So Nicola disappearing down that bank, Willow, the first reports of Willow was that she was running up and down the bank. Those were the first reports. And it changed slightly, subtly, that she was running between the bench and the gate, or she was running between the bench and the stile. But the first reports were that she was running along the riverbank. So I think she was probably pacing. She was probably pacing backwards and forwards, not understanding what had gone on and being confused by that, just by that banking. And when Cassie was there, she's reckless. Cassie still, she's nearly 2, but she's still reckless. And she would not attempt to go down that bank. She was trying to get in near the weir, strangely, not right at the weir because that's steep, but just a bit further downstream than the weir. She was trying to get in. She was on a line, but she kept trying to get in. But at that place, at that bench, she didn't. She was running along the bank, but she would not jump down. So, but I as I said in a video recently, that I'd like to know more about Willow. I'd like to know more about her personality. I'd like to know how well trained she is, whether she's a good scent dog, whether she's a good jumper. Those kind of things would be relevant. But that's just my opinion of why she didn't follow Nicola's body downstream, or Nicola maybe still alive downstream, because of that utter confusion and panic. But if Nicola had gone through the gate or gone over the stile, and Willow, for whatever reason, couldn't work out how to get over or under, in that sheer panic, she would have dug and there would have been dig marks. I looked around the stile area where that wire is. There was no dig marks. I was also looking for track marks as well. If an ATV or something had been able to get over that field at the side of the stile. There was no vehicle tracks whatsoever. But I was specifically more intent on dig marks to see whether Willow had tried to get under. I mean, as I said, I spent, some time there and I was filming, but I wasn't filming everything, and I wasn't talking through everything that I was doing. But I was looking, and I was looking for very specific things. So I don't know whether that answers those kind of questions, but immediately under, though. Normally people don't just sink directly to the bottom upon entering the water like that. It's only shallow water there, like 2 to 3 feet, and it's rocky. We've heard from Peter Folding about the rocks. If she banged her head as she fell, either if she fell backwards or fell forwards and banged her head, then she would be under. Because she was wearing heavy winter clothing, she would be under. Or if she were, you know, maybe conscious, but maybe it's wishful thinking that I want to think of her as unconscious. So she just drifted away and that was that. But if she was conscious, maybe she tried to swim to the opposite bank. And maybe Willow did in those like 10 minutes between, you know, somebody between 9:20 when we know her phone was at that bench and 9:30 when she stopped responding to the, you know, she didn't log off the Teams call. So whatever happened within that 10-minute window. If she was kind of injured but conscious and realized she couldn't get up the bank, maybe Willow was there and whining at her. But if she tried to maybe swim across, it's like 10 foot in the middle to the opposite bank where it's not quite as steep, and then she got into trouble and then she went under, that would have happened very quickly because of her clothing. She was wearing 2 coats, one of them a padded gilet, boots, rain boots that would fill with water. So yeah, there'd be some splashing that, you know, people have said, why would people not hear splashing? She'd have been able to shout for help. That's why I think she was unconscious, that people didn't hear her shouting for help. I think she was unconscious. I think she hit her head. And if so, then that clothing would take her under very quickly. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. We'll never know. We'll never know these answers. We'll never know. But that's just my assessment of thinking about this for the last 3 weeks, of thinking about how Willow reacted, from seeing it, from looking for particular things like dig marks or vehicle tracks or anything like that. And it's the only conclusion that I can draw, honestly. Yeah, bad news. I think she probably did fall backwards. We'll never know. We'll never know. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I didn't want this to be too much of a long one. Why would she leave her phone on the bench? That's another interesting point. The first reports that came out said the phone was on the floor. Now, for me, if the phone's on the floor, that's different than the phone being on the bench. If the phone's on the bench and that's where it was found, then she's sitting there on the bench and listening to her call, and she put her phone by the side of her. Why wouldn't you? And then, I don't know, whatever happened, maybe she thought Willow was going to jump in or something. I don't know. We don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know what happened in those last few minutes. So, yeah, I'm going to go and go and check out my video from earlier today if you haven't seen it. I talked about why they didn't find her until now. Why did it take 2 dog walkers to find her? I talked a little bit about Peter Folding from SGI. I talked about Peter Bagley, who's still missing out of Manchester. It's likely he's in the Bridgewater Canal in Manchester. I also talked about Mark Bishop, who's recently been found, who's been missing out of Newark-on-Trent. So yeah, all right, guys. Thank you for being respectful in chat. Thank you to the mods. I know you're having to do a little bit more work than you usually do in my chat at the moment. People are a little bit fractious, but the vast majority of people are respectful, and you're very welcome on my channel. You're welcome in my chat. You're welcome in my comments. If you've got an opposing opinion to me, you know, you disagree with me, that's fine. Just be respectful. And it's just when people are rude that I'm not having it. I'm not accepting it. So thanks once again to the mods. Thank you for the donations and welcome to the new members. It's very kind of you. Yes, I am following the Murdoch case. Yes, I will pick up the Murdoch case. I've been watching every single minute of the trial. Every single minute. If I've been out in the day, because it starts at 2:30 p.m. my time. So if I've been out in the afternoons or been busy with other stuff, I've caught up with it in the evening, watching it on like 2 times speed, and I end up catching up by the lunch break, and then I watch the afternoon sessions in real time live. So I've watched every single minute of the trial. Obviously, I think it's President's Day today, so there's the trial's off today. They're on a holiday, but yeah, I will be picking up the other cases that I've been following. So yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.